You've seen nothing, you've heard nothing. If not...
Victims are hounded out and shot down in scores.
Some are told that their arrest was a mistake. They are freed.
Shot while attempting to escape was the official excuse.
Heil Hitler!
Hitler sends me that.
Yes, he hasn't forgotten you were once his friend.
It's very nice of him.
He wants to save you the fate usually reserved for traitors. He doesn't like to think of stormtroopers walking around boasting of having shot the great Captain Roan.
You mean he wants me to commit suicide? No, I won't take it. I won't make it easy for him by committing suicide. You can tell him he'll have to murder me, too. He'll have to finish the job himself to make it thoroughly worthy of him. I don't want his mercy. I want a dozen bullets in my guts, like my friends.
I'd advise you to think it over.
Hitler is now master of the situation.
And within only a few weeks, Hindenburg has the good grace not to exhaust his rival's patience.
He takes leave of life on the 2nd of August, and prolonged obsequies are ordained, culminating in the funeral at Tannenberg.
The German papers that announced the president's death at the same time published the text of a law adopted the day before,
While Hindenburg was still living.
decreeing Hitler president and chancellor.
The same day, German troops are compelled to take a strange new oath.
An oath of fidelity to Hitler personally.
I swear by God this sacred oath that I will render unconditional obedience to the leader of the German Reich and people, Adolf Hitler, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, and that I will, as a valiant soldier, at all times be ready to stake my life for this oath.
And while the German people mourn the passing of the great marshal, the Austrian upstart secured himself finally in position as head of the German state.
All that remains is the election.
To confirm his succession,
The people must decide.
A foregone conclusion under the mass attack of Goebbels' hysterical propaganda.
Hitler is duly confirmed.
More acclamations.
more ovations.
But the public expects more than this. They want the fulfillment of all those pledges.
Hitler cannot deliver.
But he can and does dope his dupes with growing doses of anti-Semitism.
He puts into effect his theory of racism, according to which only the 100% Aryan is worthy of living and propagating his kind in Germany.
How different from the ideal are the leaders themselves.
Hitler, thinking far ahead, sets out to capture the youth of Germany. But Hitler, who has made racism the foundation of National Socialism, cannot be sure that he himself is a true Aryan.
His father was the natural son of a young woman named Schicklgruber, and he nearly came to bear that name himself.
Could he have become the master of Germany if that had been the case? Instead of Heil Hitler, imagine the Nazi salute, accompanied by the ridiculous chant,
Heil Schicklgruber! But as it happened, an old man, Johann Georg Hitler, at the age of 84, acknowledged as his son Adolf Hitler's father, the illegitimate Alois Schicklgruber, at that time 39 years old.
Was old Johann Georg Hitler really the man to whom Maria Anna Schicklgruber, the farm girl, had surrendered 40 years previously?
Famous men, if they are Jews, are forced to flee their country.
3 Nobel Prize winners.
Einstein,
James Franck.
Freud.
all have to go.
And should the fever show signs of abating, it can readily be whipped up again.
Shops are branded and then broken into.
Wrecked.
Plunder.
Any attempted resistance is a signal for a beating. A collective fine is imposed on all the Jews in Germany. A total sum running to millions of marks.
Those who resist go to the dreaded Dachau concentration camp, where 100 die in the first 5 weeks. But in any case, the money is collected.
The wealth thus confiscated is used to help meet the cost of Germany's colossal rearmament.
Not all the money is used in this way.
Some goes to line the pockets of Nazi leaders.
This hermit of Berchtesgaden wears strange sidelight on his complex character. Guarded by his boys, stormtroopers, he stands alone against this impressive background, face to face with the gigantic idol he has made of himself.
If Hitler knows nothing of the sentiment common to mankind, it is because a single passion, all-absorbing, dominates him. He wants to be not only the greatest, the most powerful, but the only master.
Even above God, whom he does not recognize, unless the clergy submits to his will.
We do not want any other God but Germany itself,
Cries Hitler. Goebbels echoes, God manifested himself not in Jesus Christ, but in Adolf Hitler. Christ is a false prophet, for he was a Jew, and Judaism is the source of all woes.
All kinds of books are broadcast expounding the Nazi theory.
Bolshevism, the fruit of Christianity.
The fall of the gods.
The Pope wants war.
Catholic priests and Protestant clergymen, including the martyred Niemöller, are attacked or imprisoned when they resist the imposition of the Nazi theory upon their religion.
Greater than the cross in Germany is the hooked cross. Hitler's power, symbolized by this cross, must be imposed everywhere, on everyone.
And it even descends, this cult of Hitler, from a certain grandeur to the completely ridiculous.
Heil Hitler! Heil Hitler! Heil Hitler!
Heil Hitler! Heil Hitler! Heil Hitler!
And so the people howl, and they fly the flags. Obedience and discipline.
Sie gegen jedermann zu vertreten und zu schützen, so mitzuhelfen am Aufbau eines wirklichen und besseren Friedens. So wahr uns Gott helfe. Grüßt deine Führer und Befreier, Sieg! Sieg! Sieg!
But for all the well-orchestrated evasions, Hitler knows that he's not silenced all consciences.
There are still those who would like to reach behind this living wall of machine-made enthusiasm.
The only news that they get in their newspapers is Nazi news. And it is forbidden to listen in to foreign radio.
The Nazis try to create a Germany of just one opinion, one point of view.
The human mind in quarantine.
punishment for listening in to foreign countries is severe. In the final resort, the penalty is death. German newspapers themselves have announced sentences for this crime of penal servitude ranging from 3.5 to 5 years.
Crime of wanting to hear the truth.
But the people do listen, and ingenious tricks are resorted to.
Still parades, and more parade. With Hitler now apparently assuming the role of a Nazi Nero.
He maintains his torrent of oratory.
Dass Sie an diesem 29. Ihre Pflicht erfüllen, sondern unseres Volkes und seiner Zukunft wegen. Denn wir sind vergänglich, aber Deutschland wird bestehen. Wir werden sterben, aber Deutschland muss leben, jetzt und immer.
An orgy of ringing declarations.
The German people have no thought of invading any country. The German government, like the German people, are filled with the unconditional wish to make the greatest possible contribution to the preservation of peace in this world. Hamburg, August 1934. 10 months later, Germany announced conscription. We want to be a peace-loving element among the nation. We cannot repeat that often enough. The first and best principle in our government's program is that we shall not lie. When have the German people ever broken their word?
This is the man who solemnly promised to respect the Versailles Treaty and the Locarno Pact.
On March the 7th, 1936, German troops occupied the demilitarized zone of the Rhineland in violation of those treaties.
May 1935. Germany neither intends nor wishes to interfere in the international affairs of Austria, to annex Austria, or to conclude an Anschluss.
5 months later, the Germans instigate riots in Vienna, and on July the 25th, they decide upon the murder of Chancellor Dollfuss, who opposes the Anschluss.
The Nazis masquerade in the uniforms of the regular Austrian army, seize the broadcasting station, and announce falsely that the Dollfuss ministry has resigned and that Brintelin, a pro-Hitler Austrian minister, has taken his place.
Meantime, other Nazis have invaded the Chancellor and shot down Dollfuss.
He is carried into an office and placed on